What's up, everybody? It's been another couple months, days, I know, making videos, and so if you're probably wondering why you clicked on this video, if you were interested in what I got to say today, there's a lot that I need to get off my chest. You know, for the 13 years I've been doing this channel of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film / PR Lost Galaxy 2014. So this video will cover the status on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, my more recent fan film of it that was supposed to be in 2024, but then also my future projects, and then also about the future of the channel past 2025, and then also about the still the rising alarming decline of the channel after I have been long gone and away for so long. But first I need to talk about the fan film. So if you may should know, right now at the time of this video upload, I have already finished editing most of all the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2024. Everything that has been shot, everything that has been filmed. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to put a rough cut together. I still have yet to do some further pickup shots on the fan film and what's going on with that. And I do expect to get the fan film out before 2025 does come to a close. It was supposed to be 2024, but due to some personal matters, like me still being in that shelter, that, you know, rotten hellhole of a, you know, shelter, I'm still working on trying to figure out how I'm going to get the fan film out, even though it's very past 2024 and 2023, 2022, but it will be out by the end of 2025. I just decided now that going forward, if you haven't been keeping up with a lot of my social media posts about updates and stuff with the fan film stuff, and even these long bloated written posts that I posted in the community tab of the channel, I've made clear that going forward, I'm no longer doing fan films of Power Rangers where I'm going to hype them up like they're going to be the biggest Hollywood blockbuster on YouTube or something you can watch for free. In the last 15 years, I've been doing fan films of Power Rangers, 13 if you count this channel's longevity. I have been doing these fan films out of sheer wanting to somewhat compete with Hollywood, but realizing I don't have that kind of Hollywood, you know, money to make something altruistic and big like the lot, because fan films are not supposed to be, you know, obviously fan films are not supposed to be like Hollywood movies. And the mindset that I've had when doing a fan film, because ever since I did my very first fan film attempt 15 years ago, that was the mindset, that was my demeanor. And I knew how much this was going to eat me up for the, you know, in 15 years time if I didn't change my attitude and change my mindset. And in those 15 years, I've really have been, I've realized I've hit, you know, would eventually in those 15 years would hit a downward slope. And knowing how my channel began to how it's still going until who knows if I will come up with a potential retirement plan with the channel, and I don't know if I'll do another channel and see where that will go there, unless I have to re-upload old videos and put them on a new channel. But I don't think those re-uploads of these videos I've been posting lately and what I've did in the past will catch on with people. So yeah, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy is still on its way. I just now making final touches on the movie by making sure the effects are right, making sure the ADR and everything is right. Because you know that, you know, since I've been pivoting from paper dolls to action figures and other means, I've decided not to use paper dolls anymore going forward, because if you haven't been keeping up with I know a lot of people in the fandom don't really care about this stuff, and that's okay. You know, the stuff I've been doing for so long. The reason it took a long time for me to do this stuff was because there'd be a lot of stuff in my personal life that can interfere my passion of doing fan films. Stuff like relationships with friends and family deteriorating left and right, or anything in between that can happen. And another reason for the delay of the fan film, when I should have had it out in April like I hoped, even regardless of what that new trailer from back in February said, and even past videos I've talked about. Now, the reason for the delay of the fan film is because I'm still currently over 6 months now since Austin had passed away in March of 2025 from his heart attack and cardiac and other heart problems he had. And I will dedicate Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2024-5, well, it's 2025 now, but when I made the movie a few years before these turn of events happened. So when the fan film does open up, before you see what I did with the film, you know, before you see the movie, it will open up with a little black screen paying tribute to Austin. So I just want to make sure for those going into the movie that there will be that tribute scene to Austin. And I just want to make people know that that is in the film, because I don't want people to forget that the movie, I mean, people will think the fan film is not happening anymore, but it still is. It's just the reason it's been in the dark is because I'm still going through grieving and losing him being the biggest loss of my 2025 and for the rest of my family. And I know most of my extended family and everybody is still concerned about my well-being and what's going on with me still after 2 years since me and Austin fell out in 2023. So therefore, I'm going to pay tribute. So the film does pay my last tribute to Austin. Now, initially, I was going to do a video on his what would have been his 31st birthday last month in September, but I decided to cancel the video and cancel the plan because it'll be too painful to talk about it. So that's why I stopped talking about him and, out of sheer grievance. So I decided to just not bring it up until who knows when the time is right in 10 to 15 years after he passed, and depending on how long I'll keep on doing channel. Now, as for my next couple of fan film projects of Power Rangers after PRLG 2024, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, the Magna Defender was supposed to happen, but since due to the overhaul with post-production on the last film I've been working on, Magna Defender will probably start production in 2026. It won't be out in 2026. And then there's other projects I also want to do between 26 and 2027 and likely 2028. I don't know. But those plans are also in the air at the moment. But right now, PRLG 2024/5 and the Magna Defender are my priorities right now. And as for a web series, like I did the Rise of Trakina serials 10 years ago, I was thinking about, yet again, speaking of Trakina, I was thinking about doing a Trakina and Villamax web series which is a prequel web series that leads into the events of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2024, and with some bits of Villamax's arc leading into when he shows up in the next movie, because the plan is how I'm structuring the Power Rangers Lost Galaxy series I'm doing now is do a method of doing like one movie focusing on one villain and the next movie does the next villain and so forth, where like PRLG 2024, Trakina is the main villain, second movie Villamax is the main villain, and who knows about the third movie. Because everybody knows about Lost Galaxy, where, I love Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and I know a lot of fans liked it too. And I know there's some fans who don't like the season because several factors. Charlie Brown, they had like so many, one of the glaring issues I did have with the original series, the TV show, as much as I mind the amount of villains that, they had to span over the course of that 45 episode run. The only reason I had those villains because the suits were there, but they were not going to use Sentai footage because the villains that they adapted for Villamax and Tretron and them all served Captain Mutiny's counterpart in Ginga Man. So that's why there was mostly all original footage for those villains. And the only villain from the footage that we would see via Sentai is Deviant and Mutiny's crew. So, but the fan films I'm doing a PRLG, I'm not going to do many villains, and so it's just only going to be the villains that I think are more prominent to PRLG's lore that everybody knows. And everybody should know how for the last 15 years I had been very, very limerent about Trakina and how much I've been wanting to do her in a fan film ever since Rise of Trakina back in my last year at Gaithersburg High School. And then there's also a third fan film of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that I am still developing. I've already wrote a story outline for that potential third film, and that will also be made in 2026. What I'm going to do is do the sequels back to back in 2026 and hope both movies come out in 2026. If the third movie don't come out in 2026, then it'll be 2027 for that third movie. Because as of this video's recording, the 2020 decade is almost halfway done. 2025 as of this video is almost done. We're going to be into 2026, 2027, 2028, and the big 30 for Lost Galaxy 2029. And I'm just like, man, these last few years of the 2020s so far, as in my opinion, has been a dumpster fire. Last 2 years and a half, I was in quarantine because of COVID. And then these recent 2 years and a half, I was, currently homeless. And, being homeless after me and Austin's little falling out and little restraining order debacle, And even after the restraining order ceased, and then we, worked some stuff out last year. Things were getting a little better this year, but then March, something hit the fan with him, and then tragically he passed away. So now for me, I got to figure out what to do going forward with the channel. Now, as for the channel itself, I've noticed that when I was going through my YouTube studio and my analytics and the statistics of every video I've uploaded and the channel in general, and who's subscribing and who's like watching and stuff, and who's, who by demographic. Now, so far, if you haven't been keeping up, now the reason for all of those toy review videos that I've been putting out every day now, I'm starting at the point of uploading videos every day, so that way I want people to know I'm still uploading videos. I'm not, people think I gave up on YouTube when, no, I'm not ready to give up on YouTube just yet. Well, videos continue to lower, continue to go into low views, then I don't even know if I want to quit. But then I had these, that's one of the reasons I had a hard time deciding to do this vlog video, because I'm not sure whether if I should continue doing YouTube videos or not going into 2026 and 2027. These last couple of videos I've been putting out, some videos have gotten some good numbers and then other videos have not. But though every video I put out wasn't getting much responses or, audience retention, so I look at that as more like, I guess maybe it's because people are waiting for when is my new Power Rangers Lost in Galaxy fan film. I think that's what it is. And that's probably why views have been dropping, subscribers have been dropping, because I know I haven't been living up to what the channel was supposed to be since I renamed it from PR Lost in Galaxy 2014 to the current name since 2019. And now it's like 2025 and I have yet to put out a new film. And yeah, 7 years was enough time for me to reevaluate what I need to do going forward. But the reason I've been putting out all these review videos of all of these collectibles and stuff is because I want to make up for lost time not uploading a lot of new videos in 2023 and 2024. That's why I've been putting out all the different collectible figures like Marvel Legends and WWE Elite figures, because I just haven't been making videos in a really long time. 2023, you already should know why I was off from, this platform, and what I said back in my vlog video about Austin in March. It was due to the fact that me and him had that arguing and fighting. If you haven't been keeping up what was going on, it was due to some disagreements and stuff that we had, and then it got into a nasty, ugly fight, and he called the police on me. He filed a restraining order, an order of protection, and then that was his means of saying I need to get out of the house and just get my life together. But also it was due to the fact that things were not looking good for me personally. Now that I was put out of his apartment at the time, I was going to be homeless. And I didn't want to live with family because several factors, like Power Rangers, because, I have a family member who loves to brag about my Power Ranger habits and stuff, and this channel. And that's why 2023 I had been away from YouTube for the remainder of the entire year of 2023. Because January 2023, I was still doing stuff in that apartment until that dispute that was going on between me and Austin. So that's why I haven't been making videos. Well, 2024 things cooled down, and we have reconciled, by the way. So we were slowly trying to rebuild that relationship that was fractured due to my arrogance and my disagreeing with his personal preferences, because we were disagreeing and arguing over different preferences. Like, if you don't like horror movies or anything like I do, then that's fine. I mean, heck, horror wise, I have an Elvira t-shirt. Elvira's horror comedy, but she's not straight up horror or anything. She's just, what she is. And of course he didn't care about stuff like that. He didn't care about the fan film stuff of Power Rangers. So that was another thing why we were having these arguments and disagreements, and a whole lot of other things we argued and disagreed on, and why we fell off. So, ever since Austin passed away, I've struggled to want to continue making videos and to continue doing this channel. Even if he was still alive and say, I don't care about your Power Ranger channel, I don't care about your fan films and stuff like that. And, he didn't have to. I mean, there's people who don't care about my content, who don't care about it. That's okay. We're not always going to like the same thing. And I may not like the same things people do too. And also another reason I meddled out from doing fan films like I've been doing is because out of the fact that for the last decade I've been doing fan films, I was doing them out of fear of missing out on doing something big, or Actually, I was basically doing, like I've said in the written community post, I was doing fan films out of spite and ego because I did not like how the last era of Power Rangers, that being Neo Saban and even Hasbro, was handling the brand, and after the Disney era. And I had been one of those Power Ranger fans. As cynical as I was, that's what led to that rock bottom downfall for me, that down point in my life in 2023, around the 30th anniversary of the franchise, no less. And that's why my channel started to die, and I feel like the content I've been putting out, I've been striving to put up more content, but now I've come to a point, these videos I've been putting out are just not clicking with people anymore. And I think when I put out this action figure laden fan film out, I mean, there's plenty of Power Ranger fan projects I've seen that have used action figures and stop motion. Those do somewhat well. But my fan film, since I'm changing the production medium from paper dolls to action figures I've used to, that I've customized as Power Rangers, I don't even know if this will be a smooth transition from paper dolls to action figures, because I've said this back in 2022, if possible, if I did, but it's just, I don't think people really care anymore, and they've moved on. And should I move on? Should I move on from this channel? Should I move on from this content? That depends, because, I think the problem is, in the 13 years I've been PR Lost Galaxy 2014, a lot has changed. And, the name of the game has changed. The way of doing a Power Rangers channel like mine has changed. When I started the channel, I was doing a bunch of low quality videos proposing about a fan film of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. And even though when people saw me do those paper dolls at the time, people were skeptical. Yeah, there were going to be people who didn't like the paper doll stuff, but now as of 2024 last year, I threw all those paper dolls away. And for those who didn't like that stuff for the last 13 years, I hope you're welcome that I no longer have that stuff in my possession anymore. Because there's other methods I can do fan films of Power Rangers now, because I felt, eventually the paper doll stuff was going to run its course. And even this channel did run its course. So what can I do to try to keep it going for another few more years? Maybe I should just revert from instead of doing all these review videos of these action figures and, posting Legacy War videos every day. People need to see this new fan film of Lost Galaxy, because for the last 13 years, when I started the channel in its earlier years, I didn't want to do a fan film that had the Legacy canon characters, because, like I said in my commentary track for Wrath of Trachina 7 years ago, that I was scared that I would ruin people's childhoods and ruin my own childhood nostalgia for Lost Galaxy. And knowing Power Rangers Lost Galaxy is that one Power Ranger series that needs more reverence in the fan film void in the fandom. I mean, I've seen a few Lost Galaxy cosplayers and stuff like that, and other Power Ranger fans cosplaying as some post-Zordon Rangers, especially like Time Force and Wild Force and some of the Disney Rangers. Plenty of the Disney Rangers, though. But Lost Galaxy is that one Power Rangers, regardless of the Charlie Brown zigzag stuff on the suits. I just want to see more reverence of them. Well, there's plenty of that, but it's just... Now, the fan film projects of Lost Galaxy that I've heard of, like Galactic Chronicles, the reason I don't want to look at those fan projects of Lost Galaxy, because, my feelings of how they're how they're incorporating that season for fan projects get in the way of how I'm doing Lost Galaxy. Because, no, I don't own these Power Rangers. I don't own Power Rangers or Super Sentai in general. I'm just saying, I'm just someone who's passionate about it, but I just don't want to do fan films where I'm going to feel inferior to someone else's projects because, they did somewhat a way better job at it than I was doing. Because when after 13 years of doing this channel and doing these projects and whatever in between, I just didn't want people to think that I was a phony Power Ranger fan or just being a fake fan. I'm actually a fan. I just don't want people thinking that I'm not really legit with this. When I started the channel back in 2012, and then as it progressed during the Megaforce years, 2020, 2013 and 2014, people didn't take me seriously back then. And now here I am, 2025, and I'm like, you're still doing this after all these years? And I thought this channel was dead and you're still making content? Well, yeah, because the reason I took a long time not putting out a new fan film because I was trying to figure out how am I going to incorporate, do a fan film of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that incorporates the canon Ranger team of Leo, Maya, Damon, and the rest in a fan project. The last fan film series, as I've talked about, if you have seen Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2014 and The Wrath of Trakina, you should know that those fan films, like I said in writing on the community post, didn't even have Leo in them in that version, because I've had fan cast actors that resembled them if they were to be played by them in a movie, hypothetical movie. Even though, I didn't have an Asian guy for the Blue Ranger because it was hard finding a decent Asian actor in Hollywood that would be my Kai, Lost Galaxy Blue, in a hypothetical PRLG film for the 2010s era. So that's why in the 2020s, I know that the actor I got for Kai now is in his 40s in real life, but just make what you will. Even though PRLG and Power Rangers in general, the Rangers have to be younger, but the actors that I fan cast as of late, they're in their late 30s, 40s, something like some of them are in their like 30s, and only 2 or 3 of them are in their 40s now. So, I know time has passed, and I should have had that kind of cast I got a decade ago instead of the fan cast of Hollywood actors I imagined back throughout the 2010s. So you know how that can be. But now, after doing this channel for so long, I was thinking about, when will I hang up the Quasar Saber that I pulled out since 2012? Well, I'm not ready to quit YouTube, and I'm not ready to quit the Power Rangers fandom and retire just yet. I'm thinking about continuing PR Lost Galaxy 2014 up until, I don't know, because I'm uncertain whether if I should continue throughout 2026 or 2027, because I've already made clear that 2027 I will retire from collecting Power Ranger toys, because now that Hasbro pulled the plug on the Lightning collection, I'm really one of those in the minority that's not a fan of what Playmates is doing with Power Rangers in terms of that reignition line of toys. So I'm basically just not doing that stuff anymore. I just kind of feel like I decided I understand that doing reviews on Marvel stuff, Transformer stuff, G.I. Joe stuff on a Power Rangers channel like this, I knew it was those kind of videos are not getting much views. But I mean, the only videos that was related to those other franchises that I also am passionate about that had gotten views in the last 5 years was that 12-inch Halo Infinite Master Chief figure that has garnered 2,000 views 5 years ago, and still 5 years later still got that many. And then probably a Jada Toys Transformers diecast vehicle thing that garnered 100 views, 1,000, I guess. So that's as far as I got views for those kind of toys and on the channel. And but the reason for the increase of those review videos is because I wasn't doing much of that stuff in the past, and because again because when I started the channel, I was juggling about where is this channel going? Am I doing a film channel? Am I doing a vlog channel? A review channel? What? Because honestly, I just have a lot to think about, because the channel was supposed to be about that fan film thing. It should have been about that. But if I'm going to do review videos and stuff, I should have did a separate channel. I think that's probably why this channel, as it's still 13 years, still alive and active, slowly declining, because I think, I've been trying to increase the production value on these videos to try to make sure the video and, the picture and sound quality is pretty good enough for people to watch, but I don't want people thinking that I'm still using a crummy looking camcorder to film my videos or anything, even though I'm still using a camcorder I've been using for 10 years that has way higher clarity and picture quality than my camcorder I used for the earlier batch of videos I did back in 2012 to early 2015. So that's one of the reasons why I'm still using that one camcorder. I'm shooting one of these videos now to wrap things up a little bit, because come 2026, I will upgrade to a brand new camera that has 4K high definition resolution. This Vivitar camcorder, I got this from Best Buy this summer, and I'm thinking about starting the new year 2026. I will upgrade filming videos and future fan film projects of Power Rangers with this kind of camera, because the Panasonic camera that I'm shooting videos like this, you know, I'm going to cease using that camera after 2025, because now that we're nearing the last 2 months in the last 60 or 30 days of the year, and so I'm going to move on using a camcorder like this to shoot new videos and film projects going forward, because it's time to change the status quo with my video quality and make sure that the videos are well presented and not still looking like age old, you know, done on age old technology, because I think that's probably why my videos as the last couple of years have stagnated in quality, was because I was using the same camera, using the same video editing software and, you know, that type of stuff. And I need to upgrade every few years, because if I continue to use the same thing, I'm never going to continue going forward on the channel. I was planning on quitting YouTube following what's happened in the last few years, but I decided, you think that after doing this for so long, should I quit doing, like I said, should I quit doing this? It's highly that I will quit probably when I say it's time to quit. But if I continue to keep posting the same type of videos, you know, and they continue not making views and people not talking, then that's a sign that, okay, maybe it's time I should quit. Because I know that there's things going on in my life, like, you know, me still being in the shelter, trying to get housing and stuff as of this video, and trying to trying to get a job, possibly, and other means. And I would love to do YouTube as a full-time job. My channel currently does not have enough views and, you know, all the other criteria to meet YouTube's monetization eligibility program. Then I'm just going to remain a very unviable channel, and people are going to forget about me, forget about this, because all I do is just do this for attention. Now, I don't do videos for attention as much anymore like I used to. I've mellowed out since that. The videos I did before, I was like, you know, I was looking at myself as a very inferior Power Rangers YouTube channel. I was very inferior, and that's why I stopped looking at other people's content about the franchise, so I can try to figure out my own voice and my own identity doing covering Power Rangers. And when I'm not covering Power Rangers, I will do other properties, you know, franchises I also like too. And I do not want to delve into other like stuff that people love to talk about on the internet now, like politics. That's never been my thing. Don't even want to go there. I know enough about that stuff, you know, the stuff that's going on with politics enough. I don't want to go there and get started with that stuff. And that was another thing why me and Austin had those disagreements and fights, was because of our political differences. And then I don't want to get started talking about like all the other real world problems, like, you know, men and women problems, and how as much as I wanted to talk about that before, but I decided to just leave that all somewhere else on a different platform and not on YouTube, because this is not the place that, I mean, the problems I have in real life is not the place for this, you know, on the channel. It was on the channel at first because there was a lot of stuff I had to vent out from 15 years ago when I was finishing high school and was out of high school. But I realized, looking back on those earlier videos I did, there was a lot of venting from that time I had to put out there, because I know a lot of people don't know I still exist, but I never amounted much to anything. So I'm thinking about continuing PR Lost Galaxy 2014 for another few more years. Up until about 2028, 2029, something like that. It'll come to me. But I'm not ready to quit YouTube. Make that be clear. But I know that also, as of this video, there was a page for my YouTube channel on Wikitubia, and that has since been deleted. Maybe they knew that this channel was not as viable as others, so they figured, okay, well, I'm not that much of an important figure anyway. I'm not a very important YouTube channel. I'm not an important Power Rangers channel. So, you know, any other important Power Rangers YouTube channel worth a note. So, you know, I'm not really... I hope when I do put out my new Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film by the end of the year, things will likely change. And if you want to see a new fan film of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that has Leo, Maya, Damon, Kai, and Kendricks in it, you got it. And I hope I put it out by the end of the year. So that's it for what's going on with the channel. So Fan film is on the way. It's almost done in post-production. I know it's been a long post-production process trying to put things together. The music, the sound, voice work, and, you know, matching all that with the footage. Then I got 3 or 4 new fan film projects of Power Rangers Lost in Galaxy on the horizon. And I was supposed to have it as part of a new cinematic universe that I had been planning since 2017. But I think that as time went on, I don't think people care about it anymore. So it's just going to be yet another PRLG driven thing for the sake of my, I don't know. If I say the E word, then they're going to say, yeah, I don't want to watch your fan film if it's going to be, you know, out of your, you know, validation for your favorite season of Rangers, you know, because that's why people didn't care about your channel then and they still don't care about it now. And I'm just saying it just to speak for those who will say it in the comments section possibly. But it's just, I just hope to get it out before the end of the year, you know. I just say I'm going to put it out, but I get distracted. It was because I was, bullshitting, and I wasn't really like doing what I was supposed to do. So I got to get my shit together and get it out as much as possible. And okay, so the fan film is on the way. And also got other projects still in development. And as for the channel's stance, I'm going to continue the channel up and through 2028. If the channel does, you know, if it will pick itself back up by that point, I will probably continue until when it's time to quit the channel and time to say goodbye to everything and hang up that Quasar. Well, if I had a Quasar Saber, but I'm just saying if I was to have a Quasar Saber cosplay prop and then put it in the stone and just say I'm done as a Power Ranger. And move on with life until the day I'm no more, and rest in peace to me, and you know, but still. So anyway, so those are the updates of what's going on with the channel and what's going on with the film, and I hope you guys hold on to the film and hold on to when it will drop. So, okay, so and back to your regular, you know, programming with what I got going on.